My name is Alara Quinn. I'm 31 years old. And 4 years ago, my mother looked straight at me and called my college graduation a celebration of mediocrity. Not an achievement, not a milestone, just mediocrity. She said it calmly, like she was commenting on the weather, like dismissing years of struggle was something ordinary. I built that degree on scholarships, part-time jobs, and sleepless nights. No family money, no support, no pride behind me, and when I walked across that stage, I already knew which seats would be empty. They were. While I accepted my diploma, my mother was hosting a perfect brunch, flowers, champagne, curated smiles. The kind of moment designed for photos, not truth. That day, I told myself I was done expecting anything from them. For a while, I meant it. Then everything changed. 4 years later, I had built something of my own. A data analytics platform that exposed billing fraud in healthcare systems. It started small, quiet, ignored until it was in single quotes T. It grew fast. Too fast, companies wanted in. Investors called. And eventually, I sold it for more money than anyone in my family had ever imagined I'd touch. That's when they came back. My phone lit up with a number I knew too well. Her voice was softer than I had ever heard it. "We need to talk," she said. "A family meeting tomorrow." I almost laughed. Too late, way too late. But I went anyway, not for closure, not for an apology. I went because I knew something they didn't know I had discovered, and what I carried into that house wasn't just proof of success, it was truth. When I was 7, they sent me away, no explanation a child could understand, just packed bags and polite words about how it was best for everyone. I was sent to live with my grandmother in coastal Maine, a temporary arrangement that became permanent. Back then, my family lived in a beautiful Boston home, polished, admired, emotionally hollow. Everything looked perfect, except me. My younger sister, Ela, fit their world effortlessly. She had my mother's charm, her softness, her place in every photo. I didn't. I looked like my father, and apparently, that mattered more than I understood. My grandmother, Evelyn Quinn, never spoke badly about them. She didn't have to. She simply loved me completely. She showed up every recital, every report card, every quiet moment, and in doing that, she taught me something my parents never did. What real love feels like. Years passed. I worked, studied, built everything myself. By 18, I had a scholarship. By 22, a degree. By 27, a growing company. By 31, I had everything they said I never would. 3 weeks before my mother called me back, my grandmother died. Going through her things, I found something hidden, an envelope. Inside was a photograph of my mother, decades younger, standing far too close to a man I didn't recognize. There was also a note. If they come back, it said, "Start here," and a name, a private investigator. By the time I walked into that family meeting, I already knew something was wrong, but I didn't yet know how deep it went. They greeted me like nothing had happened, like I hadn't been erased from their lives. Lunch was laid out like a performance. Then my father slid a proposal across the table. A family foundation in my grandmother's name. Scholarships, opportunity, legacy. It looked perfect until I read the numbers, salaries for them, contracts for their friends, inflated budgets, and at the bottom, $300,000. From me, I smiled, told them I'd review it. Then I left and started digging. The deeper I went, The worse it got. Fake vendors, inflated expenses, personal gain disguised as charity, and then something else surfaced. Something older, more dangerous. DNA results. My father was my biological father, but Ela wasn't his daughter. She matched the man in the photograph. Everything snapped into place. I hadn't been sent away because I was difficult. I had been sent away because I noticed, because I looked like the truth they were trying to hide. At the same time, they were already preparing a backup plan. If I refused to fund them, they would destroy my reputation. Articles started appearing, carefully worded, subtle, painting me as unstable, difficult, greedy. Clients pulled back. Opportunities disappeared. They thought I would panic. They thought I would fold. They were wrong. I gathered everything: financial records, communications, forensic data, and I took it to court. The hearing was supposed to be simple. It was in single quotes T. It became exposure. Every lie, every manipulation, every hidden motive. The fake foundation, the fabricated emails, the reputation attacks, and finally the DNA. Silence filled the room when the truth came out. My father didn't argue. My mother tried. But for the first time in her life, control slipped. The case escalated. Criminal review, fraud, defamation, fabricated evidence. In the end, consequences came fast. My mother was sentenced. My father stepped down from everything. Their world collapsed. Not loudly, but completely. As for me, I took what was left behind and built something real, a foundation in my grandmother's name. Transparent, honest, independent, focused on kids who grew up like I did, overlooked, unwanted, invisible. Because I learned something through all of it. I was never the unwanted daughter. I was the inconvenient truth. And once you understand that, everything changes. You stop chasing approval. You stop shrinking. You stop calling survival strength when it was really just endurance. I didn't get the family I deserved, but I built one. I didn't get the childhood I needed, but I created a future that made up for it. And in the end, the real victory wasn't watching them fall. It was realizing I never needed them to rise.